Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network. Of course, with me, Lamonte Thomas. We are here live at the ACC football kickoff here in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the Westin Hotel. This is a beautiful hotel, Lamonte.
It is, absolutely. And we got it going on today. All the teams from the Atlantic Division are here. Seniors and upperclassmen have unfinished business. Coaches are talking about their new strategies going into the 2019-2020 season. And like you said, a lot going on here, Darrell.
It's been a very interesting day. We got a chance to see Louisville players showing off a little bit of their swag today. That was a lot of fun. It was cool to see that. And I just like how lighthearted everybody is right now. Seemed like we ran into a lot of good people today. And these teams are just getting ready for that next step. You're getting through your camps and everything, and now you're about to get ready for that next step that happens next month when they start season at the end of August. What were your thoughts on the day overall? Which teams intrigued you the most today?
Well, the theme here has been to take care of business. Everybody is saying that they mean business and they want to take care of business. So this is their first public appearance, so to speak, to the media at the beginning of the season. And they just talked about how much of a grind training has been. And we've talked to Coach Clausen from Wake Forest. We've spoken to Mr. Swinney, of course, from Clemson. And everybody seems to be focused. Like, they have their focused face on. So I'm just looking forward to the teams specifically that didn't do so well. The Louisvilles, looking to climb up that ladder and keep up with the rest of the ACC.
Coach Dino for Syracuse really made me smile.
He was a treat.
He talked about his military background and where his family grew up in the military background, and how he kind of implies that in practice sometimes, but not all the time. He said, but they know when he means business. But this Syracuse team, to me, Lamont, is probably one of the most intriguing teams this year. They got a starting quarterback coming in and Tommy DeVito taking over. But there's something about that Syracuse team. Even Coach Swinney said it. He said they're building something special there. And I'm intrigued to see what Syracuse does this year.
Yeah, 10-win season. They actually did ask Coach Swinney of Clemson, what is it about Syracuse that plays on your level? They said of all the teams that give them trouble, that's the one. And Syracuse they had a nice approach to it. They said, Clemson is, they're another team in the ACC that, they're the gold standard and they want to play up to that standard. So they have a lot to prove.
It's definitely going to be an interesting season. Now, this is only the first day. Today we had Louisville, we had Wake Forest, Florida State, Boston College,
NC State,
Syracuse. So we had all of those teams today. But tomorrow we have the coastal side of things, and that's a very interesting side because last year Pittsburgh won that conference, but Virginia is a team people are talking about in Bryce Perkins. Virginia Tech, snuck into the bowls last year.
With the U trying to make a comeback in Miami. So there's a lot of potential over there, Darrell.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here in the next day or so. This is just day one of the ACC Media Football Kickoff. Tomorrow, like I said, we'll have the Coastal. We'll bring you more coverage tomorrow. But right now, go ahead and enjoy today's highlights from the Media Day. I'm Darrell Owens, Lamonte Thomas, Legacy Makers.
Deshaun left, fill in the blank. And so, hopefully we can continue to do what we've done for many years, and that's have guys ready to step up and fill some voids. So he's a young guy. He's a redshirt freshman, but he's ready. He's ready to go play. Baylor Spector, behind Chad. Chad can play Mike or Will. Skowski can play Mike or Will. We'll start out with Chad at Will and Mike. Skowski at Mike. But Balin over there, really excited about that. And then over our next Sam, Isaiah and Mike Jones. Mike Jones, another guy that we're really excited about. He's a redshirt freshman. Got a little experience last year. Jake played in 4 games last year, so they've played a little bit, and they had great guys to study under at each of those positions, and they're excited about their opportunity. And then we got 4 new guys that got on campus this summer that we're really excited about. I mean, Lamonte Bentley and Keith McGuire and Kane. I mean, these guys, Brighton Constantine, who's not going to be able to play, he's coming off ACL, but we've got some youth there, but I think we're athletic, we can run, and it'll all start with that first group, which is off the bunch, well coached, really know what they're doing. They play hard, they play together. You can tell they like each other. They're a family. They're it's very similar. I mean, and it starts with Dino. I mean, the staff that he's put together, the philosophy that they have in place on both sides of the ball, they're going to attack you. And they're well on their way, man. I mean, what a year they had last year, and saw it coming a couple years ago. They're a team that's not going to go away. They're just going to continue to improve.
Biggest personal goal? That's tough. I mean, I have goals. I don't know which one's the biggest. I definitely want to put myself in a position to go on and play football after college, but that's a little selfish. That's what everybody wants, all in all. But I mean, more than anything, I want to take this team as far as we can go. That's my goal: to lead this team the right way and take us as far as we can go.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Jake Frudenthal, and what are your expectations for him this year?
I love Jack. Great story. Walk on, receiver, put on 45 pounds, worked like crazy, earned a scholarship, became a starter, became a captain, and now is a really good tight end.
Thank you, sir. You had some defensive struggles, but what have you guys done as a team to get better on the defensive side of the ball and show the ACC this year what you got?
Yeah, so I think in spring we really focused on turnovers, big part of our defense. I'm talking like you're getting yelled at if you ain't punching the ball out, like ripping the ball up, making plays. I think that, along with our new scheme that Coach Hemphill has brought to us, I think it's going to pay off big. I think our third down packages are going to be completely different this year. Really throw some change-ups at teams. Teams won't be able to just know what coverage we're in and kind of sit tight on certain coverages. I think we're going to be able to have a lot of answers for offenses this year.
So what's the biggest thing you've done as a leader on this team to try to help maybe an underclassmen or even some of the higher classmen get going this year?
I think just bring that competitive nature and the winning mindset to our defense, like showing these young kids how to take care of their body on a day-to-day basis, showing them how to watch film and do extra work. I think that's very important to winning games, especially at this level. Everybody's really good, so you got to do the extra things and the little things to win.
Now, I know that you have team goals, but what are your personal goals for the season?
Personally, I just want to play within the framework of the defense, do my job, and with that will come success, As long as you don't go out of the framework of the defense, you'll make plays and we'll win games, and that's all I care about is winning games. Yeah, I'd say we're a very close unit. Obviously, everybody's got some groups, along the team, but I think, like for me, we got a lot of young guys in the linebacker room. Ryan Smenda was just a freshman last year, and he's somebody that I grew to be pretty close with this year. I'm looking forward to playing alongside him this year, and really just all the guys in the linebacker room and just the defense in general.
New offensive coordinator, Dino, talk about what he brings to this offense and how he's going to contribute to what you expect.
Well, again, someone that's experienced in calling the offense and having great success with the offense is always beneficial, and just Kenny's personality, I think, fits our players, fits our team, and just his coaching style has been great for our way and getting them to execute at a high level and at a tempo that we want to run. So I thought it's been great since he's been here, and he's done a great job of bringing our offensive staff together and getting on the same page and getting our players to understand what we're trying to do. And it's been great this offseason, watching him work with our offense and get those guys on the same page.
Lamont Thomas, Legacy Maker Sports here with Matt Hasselbeck. I just wanted to ask you, you're going to be covering Thursday night games with ESPN. So what are you looking forward to in your involvement in that?
Well, I mean, a lot to be excited about with the ACC right now. Everyone knows about Clemson, and everyone's gunning for Clemson. But, you know, ESPN has the Thursday night football package, so I'll get to do some college football as well as my NFL stuff on Sundays and Mondays. But I'm excited. Like, I think, you know, I got UCLA at Cincinnati to kick it off. I got Mac Brown back in North Carolina going up against Wake Forest. I got to call a Wake game last year. Kind of an exciting up-and-coming program. Dave Clawson's done a nice job. So I think just being back on campus, there's something special about college football, the atmosphere. I remember what it was like for me playing at Boston College. There's nothing like it. I played 18 years in the NFL, but you never forget those college football games. And it's just a really, you know, happy to be. I think it's going to be really cool.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. And good luck to you, and we'll look forward to seeing you. Lamont Thomas. I'm here with Joe Marino from the Draft Network. And we were just talking yesterday on day one, ACC Media Kickoff, about how we used you guys and use you guys' expertise in our mock draft this year. And what are you looking forward to as far as this ACC conference and what they have as far as draft status of players and good play coming out of the ACC?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you talk NFL draft in the ACC, it starts with Clemson, who is a factory, right? They're the Alabama of this conference, and so when you're looking for the most talented football players, your eyes tend to go there. And so you get some big names with Clemson, but don't sleep on some of these other schools as well. There's a lot of good NFL talent, particularly in the secondary. When I start thinking about where the NFL players are in this league, the secondary what really, really pops.
I gotcha. And speaking of which, I'm interested to ask UVA later. Juan Thornhill, you know, they've got the guys, you know, I think Bryce Hall, they've got the guys, you know, something about UVA's program that always develops these really polished secondary these figures. So what do you think it is in UVA's program that, you know, has these players emerging?
Well, I mean, you mentioned Juan Thornhill, a player last year, very productive, good athlete. I think he'll be a starting safety very soon in the NFL. He got drafted by the Chiefs, but Bryce Hall, the player there this year, I think he has a chance to be maybe the first cornerback off the board come next April. I know Absolutely. We're talking about this in July, but I was surprised that he went back to school last year. You watch Bryce Hall's tape, he was one of the most competitive football players I've ever seen. And if you remember that run against Miami, Travis Homer's breaking down the left sideline. Bryce Hall comes from the opposite sideline, tracks him down, stops him when it looked like he had a clear path touchdown. Now, that was an important play because they won that football game. Right. They held Miami to a field goal. They didn't score the touchdown and won the game by 3 points.
Absolutely.
And so that was a big deal. But Bryce Hall has all the traits the NFL is looking for. He's long, he's physical, he's athletic, he has ball skills, he's a former wide receiver. And so that shows up when he's competing for the football in the air, and it's the competitive spirit. Really popped against NC State. I remember sitting in the box. He's going up against Kelvin Harmon, who's one of the best receivers this league has seen in recent years. And I'm like, Bryce Hall is exchanging. I'm like, who is this corner from Virginia? And then I got into his tape, and I said, this is a first-round corner.
Right. Absolutely. There you have it from Joe Marino, the Draft Network. Make sure you guys follow the Draft Network on Twitter, and you can let them know where else to find you.
Yeah. Draft Network is on Twitter, at Draft Network LLC. We're also on Instagram, and then, of course, thedraftnetwork.com. We're talking draft 365 days a year. We don't sleep, and so there's plenty of draft coverage regarding the ACC and all the good football players in this league available right now for you.
There you go. Follow the Draft Network for all your college football advice and all the advice on the draft and all the good sneak tips. Legacy Maker Sports, Lamont Thomas. Lamont Thomas here. I'm here with Duke University. We're here with some students here in the Open Door Initiative, just talking about what the ACC Media Kickoff experience means to them and what they're getting from it.
Right, so being interested in sports and having a future career in it, it's really good for us to kind of get an opportunity to feel out different fields and where we would kind of want to be in the athletic world. So.
Absolutely. Brianna, what do you think?
So many opportunities. I have made like so many athletic senior staff. We've been to Team Bricks downtown in Darrell. Got to know a little bit more about their program and their business. And then here today, we're at the ACC Kickoff. So many opportunities here.
What do you get out of the experience at ACC Kickoff?
A lot of experience, valuable networking opportunities. I'm just trying to put myself out there and sell myself and show what I can bring to the team. Pretty much.
There you
have it. Legacy Maker Sports got future leaders in the sports industry, aspiring to make good professionals.
Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network with Lamonte Thomas. We are here in Charlotte at the Westin Hotel for ACC Football Media Day, a.k.a. the ACC Kickoff. We're excited, man. This is day number 2.
Day 2.
Day 2. We had day number 1 yesterday. Got the Atlantic Division today. We got the Coastal Division teams like Virginia and Pitt. We'll get to see them today. And Lamont, why don't you tell me how you feel about today's festivities?
I feel good. Like you said, day 2. Here we are with the national championship trophy.
And she's pretty.
And she is pretty. And we and the players and coaches actually get to see their goals today. You know, it reminds them of how close they really are of getting on the gridiron and starting the season and getting to their goals. So we're definitely excited to ask them about what they're looking forward to and how hard they've been working, and they're excited to share that with us.
Well, and you know, like we said, a lot of conferences don't get the opportunity to say that they hold this in the palm of their hands. The last couple of years has been the ACC or the SEC. Well, the ACC in the last couple of years, you had Florida State win 1 not too long ago. Clemson has won 2. They've been in the national championship 3 times. So it's one of those things where this conference prestige is really on the up and up. But there's so many teams competing to get to that next level. You've seen teams like Syracuse starting to grow, and Miami's got the new flavor back with Coach Diaz. We just finished talking to him. So it's great to see everything that's happening in this conference with the network coming. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Absolutely. And like you said, legendary conference. Diaz was talking about walking through the halls and seeing the legendary coaches and the players that have contributed to the ACC and makes up this lovely conference. It's going to be great. Like you said, the ACC network kicking off. I think it's going to be August 22nd. That's going to be a pivotal thing for the ACC conference going forward. And it's definitely going to help them and share their brand and actually get down to the nitty-gritty of what makes this wonderful historic conference.
Exactly. And today, like, we'll see teams like Virginia Tech. You'll also see Pitt, North Carolina. So you'll get to see all of those teams today. We're going to give you our highlights. We're going to give you our up-close interviews with some of the players and coaches. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network. Mr. Lamonte Thomas. Let's make this happen, brother.
Let's do it.
And having a lot of injuries. It's hard for you guys to keep a consistent pass rush at times. What are you guys doing this year to keep a constant pass rush on your offenses?
Yeah, let me make sure I heard the question right. Our defense been better. Increasing pass rush. Is that kind of the gist of it?
Yes,
what
sir.
We're doing?
Just to keep a consistent pass rush this year.
Yeah. One of the critical things that you do in any program as you grow is that defensive front. Kobe would be quick to tell you any linebacker's best friend are 2 interior defensive tackles that have to be double teamed, edge players, which we have. I'm more excited about this defense than any defense we've had in the 12 seasons. What we have to do is generate those big plays. I call them sack fumbles. About 20% of sacks end up with fumbles from a quarterback. That's how critically important they are. Not only is it lost yards, but it's a lost down and maybe possession of the ball. So it's a huge emphasis. It's been our biggest emphasis all spring. You got to do it with the front 4, but you also have to be creative in pass rush. And we've got some athletes, Kobe being one of them, that are explosive, that are fast, and will play a role in that as well. So I'm excited about what the potential is, but that's not usually done. There's usually 5 or 6 guys over there, about 300 plus pounds, that are saying you're not going to touch our guy. So it's a big part of what we see in the game of football today.
Yeah, I would definitely say I think just our versatility and just athleticism. I think especially on offense, we've got, especially in the receiver group and really all skill positions, we've just got great playmakers all around. I think receiver, something that we haven't necessarily had a lot. My first few years here has just been the height of our receivers. We've got a lot of guys who are 6'4" plus now. I think maybe at least 4 or 5 guys. So those are going to be great targets for me on the outside, on the inside. In addition to the athleticism they have as well. They're fast guys, very athletic, and be able to kind of go up and get those 50-50 balls, which we haven't always been able to do. So I think we're just really excited about just those guys and their progress and development, and looking forward to a great season.
Backs coming back from injury. It seems like you guys have a bond there. So what would that mean to you for them coming back, and what's the camaraderie like on that whole defensive unit?
Yeah, I mean, as a whole defensive unit, we're a very tight-knit group. We laugh and joke around, but when it's time to get to work, we get to work. So again, like I'm around Dylan Singleton a lot, Mark Gilbert a lot. From the front wise, I'm around Victor. Our very name, we have a nickname that people call him Super Kobe, because he's literally like a bigger version of me. So again, just the camaraderie around the group is very energized. So same thing, we just got to keep it up when the season comes.
Okay. Do you have a superhero nickname at
all? For me, now my nickname is Kobayashi. Again, so during my time when it was Tanashi Berry was here, in our shoulder pads and helmet, we kind of looked alike. So Jim knows would get our names confused and switched up sometimes. So my nickname became a split between the two. So my nickname is Kobayashi.
He's gone to the NFL. Do you think that Joe Reed can be the type of player he was and have a big year for you guys?
We're hoping so, and if you were to say which player on our team is most likely to have his number of touches increased and creative ways to get the ball now that Lamonte was receiving, Joe Reed is the heir apparent. I don't think that those volumes will match perfectly, but I do think Joe will carry the majority of what Lamonte had, but we'll still have to have more of a committee approach to make up for that production. But that's our hope.
Will that be the same situation with the running back position?
At the running back position, P.K. Kier, and then I would say Mike Hollins. Those two collectively, at least today, will become Jordan Ellis. It might change where one becomes Jordan Ellis, but right now it's probably those two in that pistol back position. I was hopeful to be clearer at the end of spring, but that did not manifest, so that's one of the things I'm anxious to uncover through fall camp is, will that be one player, two players, or three? I'm not sure yet who will become Jordan.
Last year, in the top, defense was in the top half of scoring in the conference. What have you been telling your players to keep that intensity, to keep growing on that, and maybe be the top team in the conference on the defensive side of the ball?
They're certainly capable of doing that. They were close a year ago, but that is our expectation. It's taken us 3 years to have the kind of defense played at Virginia that we intended to play when we arrived, so it's been a little slower than what I thought, maybe by a year. However, we are building our roster. We're adding physicality. The scheme understanding is growing. My knowledge of our league is becoming more clear. We still focus on all the things we can do better, and they know it, and so we don't praise them much. We want them hungry for more, and that's how I would frame where they are now.
Confidence going into this season, does the men's basketball team give you? You see them win national championship, and football has been growing. What's that next step for you guys? What type of motivation did that give you guys, especially going into the season?
Yeah, I think just seeing all that they accomplished, just overcoming the adversity where they fell, in the first round and coming back and winning a national championship. That's inspiring to watch this story and the resiliency that they showed each and every game, and the ones where they had to come back, it looked like they were down. That's just inspiring and encouraging, and so when you see that, it gives you hope and as to whatever you want to accomplish, it's possible. And just knowing some of those guys and, having a chance to meet Coach Bennett and all he represented, it was just encouraging, and it really, motivates you.
Thank you, Bryce. On to the NFL. What are your thoughts on Joe Reed? Do you think Joe Reed can kind of step into that type of role this year for this team?
Yeah, and the work ethic that Joe has put in, from last year to this year, knowing that, he can be that guy that gets a lot of the carries and a lot of the touches is amazing. We're at it every day. He's always, texting me, you watch a film today? And I'll be like, yes, all right, I'm going to come. And it's just amazing, just the type of player, type of, competitiveness and, just want to be better. And just student of the game he has become. And it definitely impressed me and definitely rubbed off on me. And just as far as playing style, there's not a lot of guys that can tackle him one-on-one in the open field. So, get the ball in Joe Reed's hands and then good things happen. So,
3 touchdown game last year, too.
Shoot.
Bryce,
I don't really pay attention to the media. I obviously hear it, but I just kind of let it go in and out one. You know, I don't have time for that.
I mean, does that ever fuel, how you
Of
play?
Of course, because it's hard that, when you put in the time, you play this game, you know what it's like to have to dominate on the field another person against their will, I mean, that happens it's one-on-ones in every play, and then you have the media, and not just him or whoever the case may be, but they talk as if they know what it feels like to do that.
Right away, first year head coach.
I believe in him. If I didn't believe we could go further than we did last year, I wouldn't have came back. And that's as honest as I can tell you. That man is not rebuilding at all. He's fueling the program, but this is not no.
I gotta step it up a little bit. I'm kind of like a quiet guy, I guess. But I mean, when you come to the U, I mean, like you said, it's that swag. You gonna go out there. You're gonna talk trash. You're gonna play. You're gonna have fun. So I feel like I'm working on that side coming out of me. But I told him there is a point. If you get me to that point, I can get there. But I said it's kind of hard to get me on the
you got your own thing going on. You got the 2 earrings in, Michael Jordan legendary thing kind of
I kind of just keep it chill. When Shaq put his on the plane, so I was like, all right, I'll put mine on too. So cool.
Thanks, KJ. What are your goals for the season? One, your goals, team goals.
Goals for the season, definitely being more of a leader out there on the field. I'm a fifth-year senior, have a lot of reps, so a lot of guys, they look for me, but just because I have that experience. So definitely being more of a vocal leader, leading by example.
In Virginia, when y'all played Virginia, the rain at the beginning of that game, how were you able to get through that game, especially with all the rain and then, how the field was, and then what, like he was saying, what are your thoughts going into this year? Hopefully, maybe it doesn't rain this time around.
I can't even lie. That was a fun game for me. The rain, we came out pretty decent. So, the rain, it was just a good experience. You don't get too many games where it's raining like that. So, it kind of takes you back to your little kid days out there.
Let me ask you this: how does it feel to be on the Maxwell Award watch list this year? And
being on that Maxwell Award watch list was actually crazy. I'd have never thought that would have happened.
Do you compare your game to anybody in the NFL that you maybe you eye, or maybe not compare, but someone that you look up to in the NFL?
It's like differences, I would say. Like speed-wise, I always look at Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. He's real fast, and I love watching Michael Thomas, the Saints receiver. He knows how to get open. I love watching him. So it's like differences in my game. Like special teams wise, I watched Desmond King. He ran a couple punt returns back. Kick return, there's not really that much kick returns in the NFL no more, so can't really watch that, but it's definitely different parts of my game I watch.
Kind of like a Megatron.
Yeah.
Questions for you. One, do you feel like that you are taking a huge leadership role into this new defense?
Stepping into that major defensive role, I think we have a lot of really talented people on our defense. I think our back end is going to be extremely talented, but yeah, stepping into that, the leader of the defense, it does mean a lot to me. I like that kind of pressure because, I like being the guy that knows the defense like the back of my hand, that can line everybody up, that can do that kind of stuff, and I take pride in that.
2018.
Reggie, what does the lunch pail defense mean to you?
It means everything. It's like your heart that's in your body. It keeps beating. It's something that stays with you for the rest of your life. Once you get there, it's really a dog mentality thing. Just have it with you and make sure that every time you go somewhere that you bring something back with you inside the pail, whether it's a piece of cloth from the other team or it's the grass, anything. Just make sure you have something to bring back.
Yeah, it looks like they still have a foundation named after it as well. It looks like they use that mentality in the community. Really has become a part of Virginia Tech culture.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Like I said earlier, this isn't something that's just for the football team. Everyone that's in Blacksburg or in Roanoke or Christiansburg, they all know about the lunch pail D and the lunch pail and the meaning of it.
It's bigger than me. I mean, before every game advance, I have hundreds of people just text me, telling me they're going to be there, telling me that they're wishing me the best of games or anything. It's stuff like that that just makes you realize it's bigger than you. And when you realize life is bigger than you, then it makes it a lot easier to go through the tough times.
Here on day 2, I wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, here at Legacy Maker Sports, we're all about building legacies. Well, I asked some of the players today what they wanted their legacy to be when they left their respective universities. Here's what some of the guys had to say. This being your senior season, what type of legacy do you want to leave at Duke University?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing is obviously you're replacing a guy who had a lot of success here and ended up getting drafted pretty high. I think the thing for me is just trying to be the best Quentin Harris that I can be. I don't necessarily want to be the best Daniel Jones or the best Thomas Sirk. So definitely want to continue the legacy of quarterbacks here, continue winning, hopefully get back to a bowl game this year. That's the main first and foremost, kind of be the best that I can be, so that I can kind of help our team win in any way.
Being your senior season, what type of legacy do you want to leave here at Duke University?
Main thing I want to just leave is just a leader-wise. As you've seen, just a guy who can make life easy for a lot of the guys around here. Just a well-respected man. Our main motto around the team is leave a place better than you found it. So wherever we go, kind of just clean up after ourselves. But just know that people are going to remember you for how you made them feel, not necessarily what you did. So you can just make guys feel good about themselves. Nothing crazy after that, really.
What's your biggest goals for the season?
I think my first main goal is just have fun out here. Again, like you said, it's my senior season, my last ride. So I think a lot of guys kind of get on themselves. They want to make this many tackles, do all this, but if you're not having fun, it's not really worth it. And if you're not having fun, you really can't play to your best ability. So my main goal is really just play, have fun. Other than that, just lead the guys and make plays.
Get better.
Shaquille, with this being your senior season, and we talked about the legacy of all the, the greats, the Ray Lewis's and all that stuff. But what type of legacy do you want to leave in Miami?
My legacy, I just want, the alumni that we have now, the Ray Lewis, the John Vilma, DJ Williams. I just want, there's a poster in the linebacker room with all the great linebackers. I just want to belong. I want to be put up there because I deserve to be there. I did what I was supposed to do. I held up to the standard, and I held the chain. I didn't let it break while I was here. So if they put me on that list, I might cry, but that's all I need. That's my legacy right there.
You're going to rock the turnover chain a few times this year?
Of course.
Sure. Coach Diaz, who you want to leave in Pittsburgh?
My legacy, I just want to be a guy that's remembered for hard work and he never gives up. No matter what, I'm never scared of a challenge, accept any challenge. So I just want to be a guy that fans remember, a hard-nosed guy, and he's up for it. Second question?
What do you want your legacy to be once you leave the University of Pittsburgh?
Just off the field, I wanted to be known as a great guy. I'm friends with everybody. I'm polite with everybody. On the field, just somebody who gave everything, gave his all, and was a leader as well. And then a playmaker.
This being your senior season, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind here in North Carolina?
I just want people to know that I gave my all. Honestly, that I put everything that I could into it, and I just want that to show. I want people to know that I was the one to start the uphill battle that we're facing right now. And we're going to come out on top, definitely. Whether it's this year or next year, we're going to come out on top, but it started here, and I want to be a part of that.
With this being your senior year, what type of legacy do you want to leave North Carolina?
Well, I want to leave North Carolina as a successful offensive lineman, but I want to kickstart Carolina back into a winning organization that it should be. Personally, I have goals to go on and play in the NFL. I want to be able to help our team as an offensive lineman and be the most successful offense that we can be. My big thing is I want to run the ball. Most of the linemen do. And we've got 3 great running backs that I want to see score as many touchdowns as they can.
What type of legacy do you want to leave behind at Georgia Tech since this is your senior season?
The legacy, it's not as much as I want to leave a legacy for me. I want to leave a legacy of my class and of Georgia Tech, of the culture. We're going to be the first class to really instill that culture that Coach Collins is talking about. And if we can do it the right way, then the next class will do it the right way, and it'll just stack. It's just like we say stack days, well, we're going to stack years, stack classes. And if he can do that, Georgia Tech will be at the top in 5-6 years.
Bryce, with this being your senior season, what type of legacy do you want to leave at the University of Virginia?
Wow.
I think more so than maybe the accolades or the awards I give that I've will get. I would more so want to be remembered with just how I impacted the people that were here, and just was really somebody that really helped people, and not just was focused as a football player, but he impacted the community and made it a better place while he was there, and then as well raised the standard, improved people to be the best version of themselves while they were here.
Bryce, with this being your senior season, what type of legacy do you want to leave at the University of Virginia?
Oh man, definitely for this team and myself, I want to, have it go down as one of the best ever. Just every time I step on the field, I try to, just ingrain myself in, people's minds at UVA. Just want to be one of the greats to be mentioned with, Matt Schaub, Sean Moore, the guys that built this program and the guys that are on the walls everywhere. I just want to be mentioned with the greats and do something that a lot of people haven't.
Lamonte Thomas, Legacy Maker Sports here at day 2 of ACC Media Kickoff. And just to wrap up, man, I got a chance to talk with some Louisville players, joking around with them, and a few players actually that came through here about their swag and who was the best dressed. Got a chance to talk to Matt Hasselbeck and his involvement in calling Thursday night games on ESPN, and even got a chance to talk to Joe Marino of the Draft Network, and he was talking about what he's looking for in terms of ACC players and their rise in draft status as they go into this season. We had a wonderful time here. Really got to interact with a lot of the players, coaches, ACC personnel, and even got to listen to the ACC Network and their launch in August the 22nd coming up, and what that means for the conference, and even got a sneak peek at some of their shows coming up. So that's a overall recap of what we got here at ACC Media Day, and we're looking forward to the season starting.